Howdy, 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 everybody. Welcome to a special secret location episode of Omnibros Live right here on the Omnibus Collectors YouTube channel. If you can't read my screen, because maybe you're listening to us on our podcast, my name is Gabe. Gabe loves 90s comics, and my little tag on here is Wolfman has nards. So, boom. This is our special Wednesday topic episode. So we're just gonna kind of shoot the hay. Along here with me, transmitting from a secret location undescribed to anybody. That's why we can't see him right now. Is the great and powerful Lou. What up, brother?
Howdy, howdy. Yeah, no, you're not far off, man. Because we pulled in. For those that don't know, I'm on a work trip right now, so they flew us out. They're paying for everything. It's actually kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie. And we flew in last night. We got in around 1 a.m, and we get a taxi, and we're driving around. And I'm like, where the hell are we? There's nothing around us whatsoever. We're in this nice hotel in the middle of basically nowhere. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
That's probably why that nice hotel is inexpensive enough for your job to pay for you to sit there or sleep there.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the general gist of it. So,
dude, I
love
hotels because I used to travel a lot for work too. Oh man, there's this time where I was just a slob. I wouldn't even care. I would just take a shower and then dry myself on the curtains.
Well, that's the way to do it, right? Because you're
I'm eating Cheetos. I should get up and wash my hands. No, wait, I'm in a hotel. All over the pillowcase that I'm not using. Whatever. On the wall.
Well, there's this new thing now where they don't. Most hotels won't do the turnover service unless you request them to do it. I'm just like, oh, you cheap bastards!
Oh, yeah,
I know
requested. Consider it requested every day.
Well, you cheap ass. I know why they're like. Well, we're trying to be not economic. We're trying to be environmentally friendly and stuff. Well, no, it's just cheaper for people to like use the same sheets and not have their stuff washed every single day and replace everything. You know.
No, dude, like it's like when you go to a restaurant, okay, and you go to the table and they already have like your dishes kind of set up, like you have like your silverware and your cups and stuff like that. The moment you sit down, all of that's considered dirty.
That's
like
true.
So by the end of the meal or whenever, they don't just take that stuff that doesn't get used and put it on a different table. They just put it, they just wash it again or whatever. I guess maybe depending on what restaurant you work at, but most of the ones I did, you would only put like 1 or 2 setups, they call them, the utensils down.
Right.
You would put you would put all 6 out. You do like 1 or 2, right? Because again, once everybody sits down, everything's considered dirty.
Well, you and I, we've both worked in hospitality and we've worked in the restaurant business and stuff like that. So we know what it's actually like behind the scenes and everything. And believe it or not, this movie gets a lot of crap, and I think it's a fun movie. Waiting, actually not far off from what it's really like to work at a restaurant and work in the kitchen and behind the scenes and stuff like that. It's pretty spot on.
I was working at a restaurant at the time when that movie came out, and it was exactly how it was at the restaurant I worked at. Almost every restaurant is like this, where it's like, you got there's always, all the guy waiters would always be like, check out the tits on table 5 or whatever. That's a real thing. Like this is legitimately written by people that probably worked in restaurants. I mean, most people in Hollywood probably have. They're all former waiters. But that movie is spot on. Outside of the weird, like, hey, look at my junk stuff, it was exactly like working at a restaurant.
Yeah, we never got that. But there was always everybody's hooking up with each other and stuff like that. Because I'd cash out people. Sometimes I did register. I've worked the back area. I've done everything in a restaurant. Just because, you need the money. You're in college and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'd cash out one of the best waiters. And like, this guy's fucking married. And he's walking out with a chick under his arm. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, dude. With the newest waitress, basically, he's walking out with. I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Oh.
That's typical. It happens, dude. I mean, all the restaurants I've worked at, I'm not on all of them. I worked in restaurants where it was like a lot of there was a diner in a casino, and most of the other employees there, other waitresses and stuff like that, were like 50 or more, years old. They were for the most part. But when I was working at places like Red Robin, Chevy Max, other restaurants, it was always everybody was hooking up with everybody for the most part. A lot of times,
and you could it's the restaurant business is kind of weird in different ways because and the thing is, when I cash them out, we knew who were the hot waiters, like who were the guys and girls who were coming in and they were cashing out like $300 checks cash on Sundays, but they were the best fucking waiters. They knew the menu back and forth. They were so good. We had regulars come in and request those specific waiters and would wait for them to have a table open, and they'd wait like 20-30 minutes. They did not care. They wanted that specific waiter.
That's the fun part of being a waiter. That's like the only fun part of being a waiter is when you build relationships with people. Same as like at a comic book store. The best part was really hanging out with the customers, talking comic books.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I could totally see that.
Yeah, when else do you get that chance to kind of just be in the know? And everybody that walks through the door, it's an instant conversation. You already have something in common, right? So and then when they become more regular and they get pull boxes, you start to know them. You start to know what they like. You start suggesting things to them and things like that. You become like somebody's barber. To the point where it'll be like, hey, you're next in line. Come on up. And they're like, no, I'm waiting for Gabe or something like that.
Would you test somebody's taste in a book? Like, would you go, okay, I'm going to see how far I can push this fucker. All right, do you like Preacher? Okay, do you like Crossed? And you just kind of keep escalating.
Oh yeah, you dig deep. You'll figure it out. That I've sold so many copies of Crossed to people. Because there'll always be somebody that's like, I like horror. What do you got? That's horror. And they'd be like, I'm like, what kind of horror do you like? This and this and this. I'm going, okay. Have you heard of this book called Crossed? And they'd be like, no. I go, okay, let me send you on a journey. And I bring them over and I flip through the book and I show them all the really gross, nasty stuff. Because it's either like, I think you're cool because you said that you like slasher, like horror, stuff and movies, and you've read this or you read that. So you would probably be into this, but this is the kind of thing that it pushes the envelope. So it's either you're going to be like, hell yeah, or no, you're a disgusting person. Why would you even suggest that to me? So it's very like, you make sure that you're into this. You want to see a kid get torn apart and have his mom eaten in front of him? Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, right on. So here it is. Stuff like that where people are like, I just want, what's the most disgusting stuff you got? And you get that from people. They don't read Spider-Man. They don't read, Batman stuff. They read, Alan Moore stuff. They read Bud Root stuff, things of that nature.
Right.
They're like the ones that they're those guys that buy all the broadsword stuff.
Right. They're the guys that actually enjoy what's his fucking face? The fucker that I don't like.
Chris
Jimmy
Ware.
Corrigan.
Chris. Okay.
Yeah.
Chris Ware.
Those are the guys. Yeah. They enjoy Chris Ware. Yeah. I just don't care for him.
Or there be guys that don't really read comics. They've always like if some kid came in and he looked like a punk rock kid from the 90s.
Yeah.
Where you'd be like, oh, it's always like guys that were like, guys I hung out with in high school. They were all into like the metalhead guys. They were all into Metallica and System of a Down and stuff like that, right? And I see them come in, and that was that kind of store because it was John. But so you get guys that come in and be like just into like rock and gross stuff. Like they always come in with like Cannibal Corpse shirts and things like that. I go, okay, I know what you're into, dude. Like check this out. I got something for you.
In some ways, yeah. When you work retail, in some ways you have to read your customer because sometimes they'll be shy, they don't want to talk to you and stuff like that. But you kind of got to be able to read the room a little bit. You test the waters and stuff. And any good person working in retail will be able to actually do that because that's kind of part of your job. You're in sales, and
yeah. And what other business besides a comic book store is it really? Hey, this thing comes out every month.
Right.
Every month a new one's going to come out. Do you want me to hold it for you in advance? Like no other business does that,
Right.
Nobody goes, hey, my grocery store doesn't go, "Hey, Gabe, it seems like you buy 2 gallons of milk 3 times a week. How about we hold that for you? And you just come in and get it." Like, it's weird, right? It's the only kind of business where the business puts up all the money up
Yeah.
front in that regards and waits for like customers to come in and buy stuff. But yeah, no, I'll buy my books this week, and then you don't see them for like a month, and you're like, "Hey, bro, you said you're gonna come in like in a week." So you're holding on like all this cash, this like
Right.
equity, all this like inventory behind you, just sitting there dead that you put into your budget to be sold, because most of
Right.
your orders are based on pull boxes. So yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah, comics, I think you hit the nail on the head. Comics in that way are kind of unique, like you said, because it's every month, 12
Mhm.
months a year, every single month you're going to get a brand new comic. Usually if it if they don't cancel it, or if it's a legacy title, like it, there will never not be a Detective Comics on the stand, basically, unless DC Comics folds. Every single month you will have at least one Detective Comics, or things happen, get delayed and all that stuff. But it's not like video games, it's not like movies, because a video game will come out, you play it, you finish it, and you're probably done with it in a month. A comic, you read it, and unless you're a trade waiter, next month you're going to probably want to pick up that next issue to see what happens. If it's a good issue, if not, you drop it. So it's really unique in that way.
Oh, and you know what? And if you are a trade waiter, the best
Mm-hmm.
place where you can go to buy those trades is from our sponsor. All right, everybody. Everybody out there, you know what's going on. We'll give us a shout out to InStockTrades.com, our sponsor on the show for like the last several years. So super big shout out to them. They are the number one spot that you want to go to when it comes down to buying any of your collected editions, trade paperbacks, hardcovers, omnibuses, absolutes, all that fun stuff. With prices up to 50% off, free shipping in the United States on orders that are $50 or more, which is incredibly simple to do. That's like one omnibus, bam, free
Mm-hmm.
shipping. Excellent customer service, the best packaging. They set the standards for shipping packaging.
Yes, they do.
Awesome service there. InStockTrades.com, everybody.
Mm. Wonderful.
Cool.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, man, we're kind of a little bit pressed for time today because I've got a flight to catch tomorrow morning around 4 a.m. Jesus Christ. So I wanted to ask you real quick. You saw the new Ant-Man movie. I have not seen it just because newborn, don't have the time. And part of me is like, it's a fucking Ant-Man movie. I really don't want to spend $20, to go watch Ant-Man when in 45 days it's going to be playing on Disney Plus. What'd you thought? What'd you think?
So did they say, is that what it is now? Is it a 45-day buffer from movie
I
to
believe it
streaming?
is. I believe it is.
Okay, that's interesting.
What'd you think?
Um, I think it was a soft opening for
Okay.
Phase 5. It
Disappointing?
wasn't the strongest opening I think they've done, that they could have done
Okay.
for something like this.
Okay.
Story's fun. Story's very straightforward. Michelle Pfeiffer is like the star of this movie.
Really?
Like, she kills it. Like, she's acting circles around everybody in this movie. She is believing it. Everybody else kind of just doesn't. They seem kind of laid back with everything, and she's like serious, and she's like, she's got it. She's the best actress in this movie, or best actor, period. Like, whatever, for this movie. So she was great. Kang was awesome.
Okay.
MODOK was also really cool.
Uh-huh.
For the most part, 90% of him in that movie was cool. CGI was fine. Some of it was kind of weak, where you could go, I can see that's a green screen. Obviously, it's all green screen, but there's parts where it's like, that doesn't look that doesn't look right. Like you can just tell. I think
Right.
we just grew up. You know, we all know. Like you can't fool us anymore. Like we know that's all CGI, but there's parts where you're like, that doesn't look right. Like there's something off about that kind of thing, right? There's a little bit of that. A lot of times they're like, it's like two big people talking to each other, but the way it's shot, they look normal sized.
Huh.
Like I don't know, it's just weird. You can no, they're not really bigger. You can just tell that it's just like everything else is just smaller. Like it's
So
just
scale.
weird. They just there's times where it's like, nah, they don't really look. They look big because there's buildings below them, right? But you're like, they just look like regular sized people on the screen. Like I just couldn't buy into them being big at certain parts. Right? I'm like, that doesn't look right. And things. There's some weird wonky shots and stuff like that too. But it's like, how do you like make something look big? Like I just couldn't believe it. Like I wasn't believing it. So they were saying things like, "Hey, look, we're huge," and I'm like, "Oh, you're saying that because you could tell that you're really not." Like they had to really spell it, like, "Hey, we're big," and they're hugging people and stuff like that, right? And I'm like, so stuff like that.
It was one of those things where it was clear that was probably done in post, where they realized, oh shit, this doesn't translate as well as we thought it was going to translate, right?
Yeah, and there was some there was like some weird wonky CG stuff, but nothing egregious or bad or anything like that. They're just, you're like, that's green screen really bad. It's weird.
Okay, so there's a lot of stuff circulating around this movie right now,
okay,
and I wanted to get your 2 cents on it. There apparently, again, like a lot of the Marvel stuff, this shit, a lot of it got leaked about a year ago, plot-wise. Now, there have since been reshoots. I've read what the original plot apparently was going to be, and this is from a trusted guy who he called out the Wakanda Forever stuff, and it was fucking spot on to a T, like a year before that movie came out. So I trusted this. I've read what they put in theaters versus what they had originally put out. It's clear there were a lot of reshoots in this, and it's clear they were originally going to go for a much darker tone involving Kang and Scott. Is that apparent, where it seems like they were going to go one way with it, but then they kind of chickened out at the last minute?
I don't know about that. If they did, then they must have changed the entire movie, because from the beginning, you know, like what's kind of going on with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just one of those things where, like, I mean, did it mean that in terms of like the story or like the CG? Like, what did it mean by it got changed at the last minute?
Most notably, the ending. The ending of this movie was much darker than what I've read is the actual ending. And I can't give anything away because I would ruin the ending, but it was much darker, and things don't work well for our hero.
Okay, because the ending was kind of it was a safe ending. Kind of thing. Like super safe. Like everything got put back. You know, like it's like, oh hey, nobody got hurt. You know, it's just one of those things where everything just kind of goes back to normal, right? Like it's just there's no consequences that we can really tell,
right?
But in the grand scheme of the storyline, like nothing really changes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I could see how they could have gone darker, and I probably would have liked it more if they did go darker. Because why else make Ant-Man the big, opening gig, right? Like the warm up of Phase 5, and have it be a soft opening.
Right. So my issue with this whole thing has always been, Kang is supposed to be your next big bad, right?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the next Thanos level threat, like fucking, like hard to fucking kill, And I think the thing is with Thanos is they set him up so well that when he finally shows up in Infinity War, within the first 10 minutes in Infinity War, you go, this is not somebody to fuck with, because he beats the shit out of Hulk He kills all the Asgardians, and that sets the tone. And this is Kang introduced in fucking Ant-Man, which I'm like, the Ant-Man movies are fun, but I don't think of Ant-Man as like a Thor or a Hulk or this huge like powerhouse of a character where if you beat him down pretty quick, it's like, wow, this dude is serious. Like,
yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah, Ant-Man's not the biggest, like kicking Ant-Man's ass isn't like anything special. He's just a dude in a suit, right? Like
Right.
like not even like a suit of armor. It's not like Iron Man, but he's just in a suit, right? And he shrinks and stuff like that, right? So like I can see what you mean by he's not really coming in to really like impress anybody by beating up Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But I was hoping it would have been more like logical or more like at least maybe not having to been like, oh, I'm gonna kick your butt, that's the greatest thing ever, but more like thought provoking or more of a big introduction to Kang and what he can do, because it doesn't matter what movie he shows up in, as long as when he shows up, he's a badass and you get introduced to him and you make everybody excited for this new villain, right? Because no one's seen him yet. Like, sure, we know he was that guy at the end of Loki, and yeah, we know he was at the end of where else did he show up in something, right? Or was it just Loki where he showed up once? But either way, like we knew he was coming up. Like we've seen him before, and this is a different version. But it wasn't like some big like, hey, this is King, and this is the reason why everybody's afraid of him, and he's such a big crazy monster, big badass, or whatever. Or maybe they're not playing it that way, and we're just expunging what we want onto them, and they're like, no, that's not what we're doing. We're not trying to top Thanos, but we gotta, you can't just keep topping villain after villain, and escalating because you're done at one point, right? But if you can make like thought-provoking stories about like smaller villains, like Kang, like it doesn't have to be like Galactus and then the Living Tribunal and then really, go super cosmic. You can do smaller stories with the Avengers and make it a big thing too as well. But I'm being as vague as I can because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. But it was just it was just a big you just let out all this air of excitement of like, I guess. I mean, all right, he's here, I guess.
Yeah, I've heard how the ending plays out, and I'm just like, really? Okay.
Everybody in the chat, we're going to get to the question soon. Sorry, I don't want anybody to feel like we're ignoring you. We're just we're in a conversation.
We apologize. We'll wrap this up in a few minutes. I just wanted to get your quick takes. I have one last thing I wanted to bring up. What was it?
It was just soft, dude. Like it was just like, ugh. And then there was like some really bad writing parts too, But whatever. But just
the post-credit stuff is good though. I've seen the post-credit scenes.
No,
I like the post-credit stuff. I like one of them, I should say. There's one specifically for that I like.
This is the reason why I try to stay away from spoilers and anything about movies as much as possible. But sometimes it's hard to avoid like headlines.
Yeah.
So it was like this wasn't like a spoiler, but anything about the movies, like I don't like to hear like, oh, possibly there's this or possibly there's that. Like, but you scroll through like news sites and you see the headlines, you're like, oh damn it, man. And they were like, rumor has it that the post-credit scenes on Ant-Man are going to be the greatest ever and are going to be a big introduction of something special. And then it's like Fantastic Four, maybe. And I'm like, oh, dude, damn it.
And then it's Fantastic Four.
And it was not even that was it not Fantastic Four. It just wasn't the greatest cut scenes ever or ending scenes ever, like they were saying. And I was like, man, these were just kind of okay. Like they were fine, they were cool. But it wasn't like, oh, I'm so excited. Oh, this is God. Man, damn it.
Well, I mean
raisins in these cookies. I didn't want raisins. Damn it. It's one of those things.
I mean, Kevin Feige and Disney have announced this week that they are changing their entire schedule going forward, that they're scaling back, they're doing less a year, and they are trying to focus and really rein stuff in because they feel that it's gotten a little bit too much. And I'm like, yes, 100%. So they've moved stuff around, they shifted things, they pushed back release dates. We're only getting 4 MCU projects this year. I think, what is it? We're getting, so we just had Ant-Man, we're getting Guardians, we are getting, there's a TV show. We're getting another season of
Secret
Loki.
Invasion?
Loki and Secret Invasion, and that's it. They're scaling back every year. I'm like, that is probably the best thing you could fucking do.
I don't mind that. Because again, this is one of those headlines that you showed me earlier, and we're going to talk about it real quick. But just at that, how for the CGI for Ant-Man, which again I didn't notice anything bad, but apparently from this news article, they split off the FX team and took most of the manpower and labor and attention and all that and moved it to Wakanda Forever. So Ant-Man got like the leftover, like they got like a small skeleton crew of via special effects artists, and apparently they said that they were like understaffed and like had like a ridiculous unbeatable, like unreachable deadline. So apparently, I guess they're saying the CGI is bad, but I don't think it's bad. I don't notice anything where I'm like, oh, that's horrible or anything like that. But that makes me also think that maybe they've been doing that a lot lately, and maybe that's why a lot of things have been kind of soft. Where they're just overextending everybody, maybe, and now they're like, "Hey, let's kind of reel this back in. We reached our breaking point, and we see what that looks like, and we want to, slow it down a little bit because we know we can do better or something." Yeah, this is my expectations.
And there's been some questionable stuff CGI wise. I mean, Thor: Love and Thunder had quite a few scenes that were really fucking rough, and not only that, you have Taika Waititi, who he did an interview. I think it was like for Variety. It's on YouTube. You can watch it, where he's criticizing the CGI in his own fucking movie for jokes on the interview, and I'm like, dude, you're kind of coming off like a fucking dick here, more than trying to be cute and funny. It's like, you see that it's bad, you're calling it out, and it's your own fucking movie. At some point, you probably should take personal responsibility for that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the director, right? Like somebody has to like own the situation and own like every aspect of it, right?
Yeah, and I'm starting to get the vibe more and more that Taika might be an asshole, to be honest with you. He might be more of an asshole than what I originally thought.
Well, not Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Thor. He said that he doesn't want to work with how do you describe it?
He said he
mad geniuses or something like that.
Something like that. He said he doesn't want to do the comedy. If he does do Thor again, he won't do the comedy shit because it's driving him fucking crazy. Is basically what it is.
And he said that something about directors. Like, he doesn't want to work with like mad geniuses anymore or crazy geniuses or something like that anymore. Maybe that's like, you take that maybe at a dig at Taika. I don't know, but things like that too. So
he might just be wanting to be, move things more seriously because he might just be trying to transition out of doing the comic book stuff. And look at Dave. Look at fucking Dave Bautista, Dave Bautista is, I don't care what anybody says, he is now the best wrestler turned actor we've ever had. The dude is killing it with whatever. And the thing is, unlike The Rock, where The Rock is just being The Rock in every single fucking movie that The Rock is in.
He has very limited range.
Yeah, Dave is actually trying, and he's doing a good job of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get.
Well, let's see if we're keep an eye on John Cena. He can do like comedy really well. I would like to see if he can maybe do some like serious roles as well. I mean, I know I don't know, because even I know he's been like the bad guy, or he's Dom's brother in Fast and Furious or something like that. Weird, right? He is. And even with that, I kind of laugh at him because he kind of you're like, it's John Cena. He's so cute. Like he's trying to be tough, but he's silly, right? So I don't know if he can break that for me, but I would like to. I'm keeping an eye on him too.
Yeah. Well, John struck gold with Peacemaker. John, John.
Have you seen Cockblockers yet?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Okay, you gotta watch Cockblockers. He's in it. He's like the dad in that movie. It's great.
Okay, yeah. John Cena's got really good acting. Not act. I was going to say really good comedy chops.
Yeah.
He really understands timing, and that's part of the reason why I think he works so well with Peacemaker. That and James Gunn's writing, but John Cena doesn't need to do anything else other than Peacemaker for the rest of his life, and he's good.
Oh, dude.
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, he struck gold with that, dude.
Yeah.
Well, him and James Gunn, I would think too, right? Because
Yeah.
James Gunn did like 2 things for DC, and now they made him like the head honcho of the studio. Like they know what's
That
good.
was quick.
Yeah, dude, that
that was
escalated.
really
That
fucking
escalated
quick.
pretty fast. Good for him though, man. I'm ready for those. See what's going on with that. I know we got a couple of years before anything, but I think
Okay.
we'll get some big announcements at Comic-Con this year. It'll be something to look forward to.
I am super excited. I will be a blubbering mess if his Superman movie opens up with Richard Donner's classic score from the original. Oh my god, I will be just a fucking mess. Like, son of a bitch, you did it. All right, man. We got some questions. What do you think?
All right, let's see what we got going on here. Gabriel in the chat. What up with this Spawn Batman icon? Very cool. Who's better, Freddy, Jason, or Michael? I think that was when we were talking about slashers. I think he's talking about,
Yeah.
Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, all that fun stuff.
I'm gonna be honest. I am a Jason guy. I just trashy Crystal Lake, Friday the 13th movie. I love the trashiest of trash. I love Jason X. I think Jason X is legit a fun movie.
Yeah, and then it still follows my theory that after you go into space, your next movie is you're in the ghetto, and then that's when they did Freddy versus Jason.
Yep. And judging by the new Fast and Furious trailer, they're going back to the ghetto. So there's a lot of racing in that.
That's how it goes, man. Same with the Leprechaun series. Once you go into space, you can only top that by going into the ghetto.
You got to go back, man. You got to go back to your roots. What about you, man?
I want to say Jason too. He's my favorite, but you already did, so I'll just take a slide over and I'll say Freddy because he was like the original slasher, movie guy like that. I've listened to podcast interviews with him in it, and how he describes how it was just kind of just an anecdotal thing that happened, and how he kind of fell into the role, and it just became like this icon, and just created like all the great slasher horror movies. Inspired artists, inspired directors, inspired writers, and sparked like a whole genre, and plus it's also the psychological side of things, because that Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors,
best one.
is not only is it like the best like Freddy movie, it's like one of the best like horror movie slasher like ever. Like whatever category you're gonna put that in, that thing's at the top.
It's great. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, Freddy for me is Freddy's so interesting in the sense that he starts off, that first Nightmare on Elm Street is a classic. It's so goddamn good. And the concept of it alone is, what if you have this thing that can invade your dreams and you can't do anything about it, really? Your parents can't help you. It's just, it's terrifying. So just the concept alone is great.
Yeah.
And that first movie, he takes it super seriously, and then you start seeing little bits of jokes and little things where it's like Robert Englund starts to have more of his personality into the character, and then eventually you get to where Freddy's just basically a giant joke machine, and I think that's where it kind of falls off a little bit for me.
Yeah, when it starts getting silly.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we get a reboot of Freddy and Jason and all those characters.
That one Jason movie or Freddy movie they did with the actor that played Rorschach.
Yeah, that was terrible.
I liked it. I was hoping they were going to do more or something with it, but
I did not care for that movie. Okay, what else we got?
Colin, hey fellas, quick question. If I really dug Hickman's X-Men run, which would I prefer? Avengers or his FF run? Or East of West?
FF.
I agree. That his FF run is like the quintessential FF run, like modern age run that we've had.
Yeah, no, not only that, it's easily top, I would say top 3 best modern day runs of all time.
Plus, you would need to, outside of how amazing and great it is and stuff like that, you would need to read that before you read Avengers, anyways. I think
absolutely, because a lot of things carry over from that FF run that while you don't need to read it going into his Avengers, there's a lot more context that you'll understand for certain characters, certain motivations going into his Avengers run if you read his FF. Not only that, his FF is so fucking good, and he gets it. He gets it. He understands who these characters are, what they're supposed to be, how they work, and he really gets at the heart of every single one of the characters. It is so. The thing is with his FF, and I've heard this complaint before, and I can see it. It is really front loaded. There is a lot that's going to be going on in the first chunk of that FF run, but please stick with it because it's so worth it.
Dude, I know what people mean by that. It's like part of that Inhuman section, but it's really like 2 or 3 issues.
Yeah.
It's like a 2 or 3 issue dip where you're like, oh, it's over. All right, okay, cool. Now we're back to the cool stuff again, you know? So it's pretty quick, you know? But I like that one better than his Avengers because with Avengers, he does amazing things with it. Like Hickman ruins comic books. He ruins them.
Really does.
Because once he's done, nobody else can satisfy again. This sounds really perverted. But every time he's done, like he did Avengers. Okay, so he did this, back up a minute. He did FF. And since his FF, they've all been mediocre at best runs. Mediocre.
Except for Alex Ross, who he's fucking Alex Ross, and he didn't even do a run. He did an amazing book by himself.
Right.
That's the best thing we've had for the Fantastic Four since Hickman finished his Fantastic Four run.
Avengers, same thing. Like, got on Avengers, did things that were just unthinkable. Like, he added so much to the universe.
Yeah, he did.
And to those characters. And again, anything after that, mediocre at best. And I know it's Jason Aaron and stuff like that, but it's just and granted, I did not read. It's been a long run. It's been like 65 issues or something like that. I haven't read the entire thing, but I read like the first story arc, and I was like, I don't want to continue with it. And I've never heard anybody say anything different since then. Anytime Hickman does anything with characters, he ruins it. Nobody else can just top it again. Like, it's just like, I might as well just give up. X-Men, again, I haven't read a lot of it after Hickman, and I did try to keep up, and it was all kind of whatever, you know. And then it got out of control when I was like, oh, okay, I could follow 6 issues or six titles of X-Men. That's doable or whatever. And then it just perpetually just 12 titles, 15 titles, so many titles at once, you know.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't keep up, and I fell off. So I don't know, but I haven't. Nobody's been burning down my house telling me that this X-Men stuff is great since Hickman.
Right.
When Hickman stuff came out, people came to the comic book store and were, for the first time in I don't know how long, sat around and talked about X-Men.
Yeah.
Nobody cared about X-Men for the longest time until Hickman showed up.
And it was comprehensible.
It didn't move the needle. It didn't add anything. Nobody was excited by X-Men for the longest time within my experience in the comic book store business there and all that until Hickman showed up. And then Hickman did stuff where he made Moira McTaggart cool. And I was like, this guy's unbelievable. Like,
you were working at the shop.
He's a wizard.
You were working at the shop firsthand. So you knew, you saw it firsthand. People would come in and go, I got to get that new X-Men title by Hickman.
And it wasn't even like I'm just here just by X-Men because it's the first appearance or it's a variant or anything like that. No, it was like, I need these books and these 2 titles. For the first time, X-Men like shot up onto like the top tier of our like pull list subscribers, like of titles. It was like the top one all of a sudden.
What do you think of that tease well, there's speculation he's going to be doing Eternals next. Nobody gives a shit about the Eternals. I bet Hickman can make you give a shit about the Eternals.
Didn't they come out and say that him and Brian Hitch is going to do like an Ultimate Universe title or something?
I did not see that, but if that is the case,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, please bring back the Ultimate Universe.
Let me see if I could find it, if anybody else in the chat knows. But yeah, they just said that he was going to do something with Brian Hitch, and it was like Ultimate Invasion, I think it's called.
Huh.
Let me look here.
God, I miss the Ultimate Universe, man.
I know, I do too, dude.
Oh, man. It was the Spider-Man book. People would ask me, okay, so I want to read Spider-Man. Where do I start? Oh, you start with Ultimate Spider-Man. And just read the Ultimate Universe Spider-Man. Don't worry about the main continuity Spider-Man. It's not that good. Read Ultimate Universe Spider-Man. Unless it was Dan Slott that was writing Spider-Man at the time, which I firmly believe Dan Slott's Spider-Man run will be remembered as one of the modern-day classics. I really think that. I really enjoyed the run. It has highs and lows, but overall, it's a great run. I think it does peak, though, with Superior.
Oh, man. Superior was good stuff. So give me a second. I found that article. This is Entertainment Weekly. Jonathan Hickman and Brian Hitch are teaming up for a new Ultimate Marvel comic. Ultimate Invasion.
When was this announced?
Today.
Oh, really?
Today, February 22nd, 2023. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So the story's going to be about the Maker and Miles Morales.
Really?
Yeah. I'm in.
They're bringing back the Ultimate
dude,
Universe.
They're
fucking bringing back the
issues,
Ultimate Universe.
It's going to happen.
Imagine they reboot
the transformation of the
Ultimate
Marvel Universe begins June 2023. And look at this. This is the Ultimate Universe characters. It's the Ultimate Universe Avengers, and that's the Ultimate Universe Iron Man.
You know what? This might be their way of backdooring like a new 52-ish where it's like, yep, we're starting over the Ultimate Universe, all number ones.
Don't do this to me, Lou. Don't do this to me. No.
All origin stories.
No.
The only continuity is Miles Morales will be there.
Don't put my hopes up like this, man. That's not cool. Don't. No. Oh, you son of a bitch.
Dude, can you see it, though? If they reboot the entire Ultimate Universe?
Oh, my God. I hope they do, because I was in the Ultimate Universe and it killed me.
Yeah.
Oh, please bring them back. Oh, my God.
You know,
dude, if they start all over and they do Ultimates again, where it's like, all right, it's all number ones, I'm going to start doing all number ones again. I'm going to start picking that shit up, son.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I mean, who would you get? Ultimates? You know, he would never do it, but fuck me. I would love Mike Millar to come back to do Ultimates again, just for the fucking nostalgia.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe CB Stepolsky can make that work, you know?
Just for the nostalgia of it. Bring him back with Brian Hitch and just reboot the Ultimates all over again.
Yeah.
With, you know? You can have Ellis come back and do, what is it, X-Men or whatever?
Oh, no. Ellis did Ultimate Fantastic Four.
That's what it was. Yeah, he did Fantastic Four.
He did it after Bendis.
Yeah.
And that's when he first started working with Stuart Immonen, I think. And then they did Next Wave together.
You know what? Give Donny Cates a book. Give him, let me think. What Ultimate Universe book would Donny Cates be good at?
Ultimate Incredible Hulk.
Oh, gee, no, don't. Geez, no, please, no.
Give him Hawkeye.
That would be
murderous
fun.
Hawkeye who was killing people with his fingernails.
I forgot about how. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I forgot how wild Ultimates was. Fucking Scarlet Witch and Pietro were banging each other.
Oh yeah.
That Ultimates run. I forgot.
So was Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were banging each other, man.
Yeah.
Or was heavily implied. I'm like, whoa.
That was going on, son.
Doesn't the Ultimate Universe just got weird? Doesn't Blob kill the Wasp by eating her or something like that?
Yeah, that was Ultimatum. People hate Ultimatum. People just despise Ultimatum for no reason. It's like the Rob Liefeld of crossover events.
Yeah,
they just hate it. It's you bring it up and people just start. It just turns into like a rabble rouser.
So yeah, I think, man, rebooting the Ultimate Universe. Maybe they reboot the Ultimate Universe and they do maybe just a small amount of titles at first. You do 5 or 6 titles. You got to have your Ultimates, right? You'll have Miles Morales, Spider-Man. You're gonna have an X-Men book because you have to have an X-Men book.
Well, with the maker there, I mean,
Fantastic Four,
or I don't know because it wouldn't be the regular Fantastic Four or even the regular Ultimate Fantastic Four because the maker is like the most evil villain of the universe. You know?
Yeah.
So but that'd be interesting to see how they go with that.
I don't think it can't be a coincidence that it's not only it's Hickman writing this, but you're bringing back Brian Hitch, who was the one that kicked it off with Ultimates with Mark Millar back in the 2000s. So they're coming full circle with this. I'm telling you, I think they're going to reboot the universe. Maybe not a full scale. Here's 20 titles, but maybe 5 or 6 titles to start out with.
I'll get all those 5 and 6 titles. Well, I guess depending on the creative teams, but
no, for something like this, to work, you need your A team on this. You need your Hickman, you need your Donny Cates, you need Al Ewing. You know, your best of the best. I don't want to fucking see, what's his face, Steve Orlando writing fucking Ultimates or some shit like that. Okay, you keep his ass away from this. You need your A team on this stuff if you want it to work.
You know what? Maybe to bring in some new talent too, like new big ass talent.
There's a lot of people on the indie scene right now, man. That they could pull and give them a shot. Because I think part of what also made the Ultimate Universe work is that you had up and coming indie guys that were just ready to blow up on the scene. So maybe you bring in somebody like a Daniel Warren Johnson and you give him an X-Men title and see what he could do with it. Because he's a guy that he really is just waiting for the right title for him to just blow up like an Al Ewing. Because he's amazing. He's such a great writer and an artist.
Oh, man. Bring the Kirby's back and have them do Ultimate X-Men again.
Man, I'm excited. I'm excited for this. It seems like every time Hickman puts something out, it's an event and it gets people talking about comics again, and it gets people back in the store.
Yeah, so. I think there was something that someone said where Hickman mentioned that Marvel doesn't want him doing ongoing series. They want to hold him for like big ass crazy stuff like this.
Yeah, well, he's your guy to do that. He's
he hasn't whiffed on a big event ever.
No, he hasn't.
And the thing changed Marvel forever.
And the thing is he's really Marvel's ace in the hole, right? Mm-hmm. He's the guy you want to bring in, and when you bring him in, it's like, oh fuck, this is Hickman. Like he's putting something out. Yeah. And the thing is, if you don't let him go away, we can't miss him. And he hasn't been doing anything for a while, so.
Wasn't this is the thing that he left X-Men to do then, right? Because they said that he left X-Men because Marvel let him do like the greatest thing he ever wanted to do or something like that.
I'm not sure.
And that's why he left X-Men early.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
I think he left maybe that title
early, right? Huh? He left the title early, right?
Yeah, because apparently Marvel gave him something big to do that's like the greatest thing ever.
Okay, so when does this come out? June, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Brian Hitch, not exactly the fastest artist in the world. I could see maybe, let's say this is a 10-issue, 8-issue series. I could see maybe they wanted 4 or 5 issues already in the pipe.
Does it say on here? I haven't read the whole article or anything.
If this is a mini-series, I could see them going, all right, we're going to give you quite a few, we're going to give you this, you're going to leave the X-Men, and we're going to let you start with Brian Hitch now because we want to have quite a few issues down the line. So once this starts rolling, there's no stopping it.
I can only imagine what they're saying, dude. I know this stuff has no dialogue balloons in it or anything, but I just know Hickman is just doing something crazy. His talking scenes, even though it's a bunch of talking, are like the greatest parts. Like, those are the things that really kind of like hit hard. Is like not so much the action. He's not the best at action, but just like the way he builds stories and stuff and interaction between people. I can just know there's some crazy stuff going on here.
Yeah.
This is just going to be like I don't know how many issues it is. I don't know if anybody in chat can help me out. No, already. I haven't read the
Hear me out. Jonathan Hickman, Ryan Otley, Ultimates.
That'd be great.
I'm buying 3 copies. I'm buying 3 copies day one.
I think Otley might be doing creator-owned stuff though, but I would love for him to like. He didn't get used well at Marvel yet. I don't think his Spider-Man was that great.
I know.
Hulk was too bad. Yeah, sorry, so sad, too bad. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see him get into something huge and something big.
All
right. So let's see.
Let's see what else we got in the chat, man.
Next, Imagine Not.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got a couple here going for it. Actually just got out, or at Lou, actually just got out of Ant-Man in IMAX, in my opinion. Perfectly serviceable in its own way, just as the previous entries. All to me have worked just fine, as admirably and unprecedentedly junky high. Next one, high concept but mediocre sci-fi films. Mediocre SF films. I'm not sure what SF means.
I think he's trying to say science fiction.
Oh, science fiction, that works. Okay. Science fiction films, just like The Fantastic Voyage in 1966. And to its credit, has mostly great CGI and fairly intrinsic production design by Marvel film standards. Gabe is entirely correct that though it's both insatiable, both writing and meta plot wise, and dramatically and comically unsatisfying, but I still thought that it made for a competent soft start to catalyzing this new phase.
Okay, fair.
That works.
Rodimus Prime Rib with the Spanish. You want to take a crack at it, Gabe?
No. I am not believing Hispanic in this group, and I'm not going to pretend to be.
I can read it for you, man. Yo quisiera tener la gloriosa barba de Gabe. He wants to have your beard, basically. He wants to have your glorious beard.
Oh, thank you. Grimace or a Hamburglar?
Grimace.
I like the Hamburglar.
He creeps me out.
Grimace creeps me out. I don't even know what the hell he is.
Yeah, but the
Hamburglar. What food is he? Yeah. Like, is he like the grease trap or something? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what a Grimace is.
Yeah, but the Hamburglar just gives me Diddler vibes, And he shows up at kids'
He just likes hamburgers, man. He's just like, I don't know. Maybe that's Wimpley's like son or something. And that's the only way he can get his dad's attention is by stealing hamburgers.
He reminds me of a petter ass. That's all.
Lionheart, what up, Gabe and Lou? Lou, safe travels, my dude.
Thanks, man. I'm terrified of flying. So,
any Michael fans? I think you meant Michael Myers.
He's okay. I like him, but,
sure. Yeah. I like the Austin Power movies. Wait, let me skip one. Darkwave Fairy, House and Powers of X was amazing, but I found a Hickman Omnibus a bit underwhelming after that.
I've heard that.
Tony, you can't get him on a title because he's going to ruin it. You can't follow him up on anything. That's like following up the Beatles or Bad Bunny. I don't know. Like, that's not going to happen. That's like being like, dang it. This is proof of concept here. When Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, the category that was getting announced right after that Like, I don't think they lost their shine. Like, you can't follow up that slap, right? And they're the ones up there like, oh, we won an award for this really important like documentary film, I think it was, or something. And they're like, it was a guy from The Roots, the drummer from The Roots was up there. And it was just like, oh, okay, well, nobody's even by watching
Nobody
TV
cares.
anymore or even like
Nobody
paying attention.
cares.
Yeah, so it's like it's like
Nobody
trying to
cares.
follow that. Yeah. I just did that one. Rising Phoenix Railroad. Hickman needs to do an Inhuman so an omnibus can be made, or at least have another good Inhuman story.
I would like to see Hickman tackle the Inhumans one day. I think
Well, he's done it in both the FF and the Avengers, but I'd like to see him actually do something with them. Like,
or somebody do something with him. Somebody competent.
I mean, he's the one that made it where it's like, oh yeah, so Black Bolt's married to like all the queens. That horse chick, that's his wife.
Black Bolt fucks around.
Yeah.
Look at
Medusa, that's his bottom bitch. You know.
that.
All right, what else we got going on here? Thoughts on East of West? I haven't read it. Have you read it, Lou?
I've read a huge chunk of East of West, and it's very Hickman. There's like a lot of Hickman stuff. There's a lot of setup initially, but fuck me, East of West is great. And not only that, I think Nick Dragotta is the artist on that. God damn, the art is just it's disgustingly beautiful. Worth a picture.
I had the hardcovers, the 3 hardcovers, and I saw how much they were going for, and I sold them. I was like, screw these things. I'll read this later.
But the universe that he builds is so good, honestly, and the concepts of it are great, and it's really worth a pickup if you enjoy Hickman stuff. Just like with most Hickman stuff, just know it's gonna take some time to build up, but it's worth it.
Let's see. Next Imagine Not. At Gabe and at Lou, who do you think might currently be a feasible option for Marvel to truly reinvigorate the Avengers since Hickman? Also, I still suspect that Hickman will cycle back to close out the Dawn of X era, but not until the X-Lines sales really start to suffer from editorial's gross exploitation of his Act 2 vision. So, I don't know anything about the X-Men stuff since House of X and Powers of 10. I dropped off like within the first year.
And I'm going to be completely transparent. I'm reading nothing of Marvel right now. Just the entire line is doing nothing for me. I don't really care about anything that they're putting out. I've tried reading the stuff that they've been putting out, and just it does nothing for me for whatever reason. Hickman will be the one to bring me back, though. I'll be definitely reading that series when it comes out in a few months. But I don't know, man. Maybe Al Ewing. But he did. Did he do it? No, he did Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, give Al Ewing the Avengers run. Let him run it for a while.
Yeah, it's like, how's your top talent not on Avengers?
Well, I've said this before. Your Avengers, your Spider-Man, and your main, not talking about the 30 little other titles, X-Men should be your greats. That should be your studs. Those should be top talented writers that should be working on those. And they're the vets that have proven themselves that they can write a long-form story. It's comprehensive. It's well thought out. It's well written. I don't want to fucking see Steve Orlando writing the Avengers because he just has not earned it yet. I think you need to earn it for a while. I think you got to work towards it.
I can't wait for that Ultimate thing to come out, dude. I can't wait. NFL dude, that explains why Hitch left Venom last year. Yeah, dude, I would totally pull the ripcord on Venom to go work on a Jonathan Hickman Ultimate Universe storyline. Man.
Yeah, it could explain it. And Hitch might have been working on this title since last year. And I mean early last year.
Maybe. I mean, if he's slow, or whatever, give him the time to do it. All these artists, give them the time to do it so that they could be the ones to, be the main host of it all, Especially for something like that. Like, what was it? I think it was Avengers versus X-Men, where like the art changed every couple of issues. I hate when they do that.
Yeah. That was kind of commonplace back then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where instead of delaying the book or announcing right from the jump, hey, this book is going to be bi-monthly. It's going to be every other month.
Yeah.
You're going to get a new issue. It was, well, this month you're getting this issue with a great artist. Next month you're getting a fucking artist that can't draw his way out of a paper bag, but we're going to still give you a good story.
Man.
It kind of happened with Uncanny X-Force. You remember we had Jerome Pena do the first 3 or 4 issues, and then they did the Otherworld stuff, and the art in that run was incomprehensible. And during that arc, it was terrible.
And what series?
That was Uncanny X-Force.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The Captain Britain storyline.
That art was horrible.
Yeah.
It was really bad. And I've seen the art. I've seen that artist do other stuff, and it was not as bad. I don't know if he was rushed or what was going on, but you went from Jerome Pena to that guy doing that art, and it was like, what the fuck is going on? The story was strong enough where it carried it, but man, that title suffered for those 4 or 5 issues.
Yeah, that's never. I can't. I hate it when they do that kind of stuff. Every time they make any kind of those changes, can you imagine like Watchmen, where it's like, oh, sorry, Dave Gibbons was a little slow, so we put, I don't know, somebody else on it instead. Oh, here's a Norm Brayfogle. Okay, so let's see what else we got going on here. Gabriel, again, have you guys read Batman versus Predator? I read it for the first time yesterday and I liked it. Yeah, I read it. That was speaking of Dave Gibbons, he wrote that, and it was, I forget which Kubert it was. I want to say Adam. No, I'm gonna say Andy. No, Adam. No, one of them. It was their first work. Was that series too? If I remember correctly, and his dad inked them. So, art's cool, story's cool. It's Predator comes down in the middle of a heat wave in the middle of Gotham City. Fights some drug dealers, runs into Batman. Craziness ensues for like 2 or 3 issues. It's great. Killing mafia dudes. Cleveland Brown. It was awkward. It will awkward if Black Bolt banged Crystal. Then again, Medusa banged Johnny Storm, who was with Crystal, so it's only fair. Royalty. What can you say? Halloran. What specifically makes Transmetropolitan so good? I'll make it quick. It's Hunter S. Thompson, let's say 3,000 years in the future with future tech. Warren Ellis, Derek Robertson. It's a political comic book, but it's not boring or over your head or makes you feel stupid trying to comprehend it. It's Hunter S. Thompson as a gonzo journalist, again, like 3,000, 4,000, 10,000, 20,000 years in the future, whatever. Really weird art, really cool technology they show in it. They predict the future. They predict things like Twitter and stuff like that. This book came out like in the late 90s. So it's great stuff. Check it out. Al Ewing is doing X-Men Red. NFL dude Jason Aaron has posted on his Substack that when his Avengers ends this year, it will be the last hero comics he does for a while.
Good for him. Yeah, good for him.
I like his not superhero stuff the most, I think.
Yeah.
Scout.
Yeah, I agree.
What was that one about high school football?
Southern Bastards, which
yeah.
stopped because of everything that happened with forgot the guy's name. He created Spider-Gwen.
Jason Latour.
Jason Latour, because of the whole situation that happened with Jason Latour. God damn, I still wanted a proper ending to Southern Bastards.
I love all the Jason Aaron stuff that he does. What was it? Oh, dang it! I forget the name of it again. Where you're following Abel in the Bible around, and he can't die. Dang it! Somebody in the chat needs to know what that is. Dang, I forgot the name of that book. But that artist did great work. Great work in Low. That X-Force art was probably a rush job for him.
It's really good.
Gabriel, I think it was both Kuberts on Batman versus Predator. Yeah, it was one of the. It was either Adam or Andy, and then it was Joe, their dad, that inked them, I believe. Lionheart, question for Gabe and Lou: if you are putting your Marvel Omnibus collection in order, how would you put your non-superhero omnis in order? Would you separate them or put them in alphabetical?
Separate them.
I'm trying to. If you're putting more omnibuses in order, how would you put your non-superhero? What does it mean by non-superhero omnis?
So I think he's talking about stuff like the Conan stuff.
Oh, that's separate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff that's not main universe, like main like Marvel universe. I know Conan's crossed over, whatever. It's stupid. Yeah, I keep that stuff aside. Best Batman Spawn crossover and why? The first one. I haven't read the second one. I haven't heard anything about it. But that Frank Miller, Todd McFarlane one is great. All right. So with that, Lou, ready to get out of here? I know you gotta catch a flight in the morning, bro.
Yeah, I gotta be up at 4 a.m. Yeah, but one last time, Gabe, where can they find a bunch of these books that we've talked about today?
There's only one place that you need to check out to get up to 50% off on your collected editions, omnibuses, hardcovers, trade paperbacks, absolutes, all that crazy fun stuff. That's on InStockTrades.com, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. $50 in the United States. Drop $50 on that website. You get free shipping in the United States. The best packaging, awesome customer service. They've been supporting Omnibroslive since my kids were in diapers. They support Omnibroslive next Monday. Another way they support us is they do give us a $50 gift card that we get to give out to one lucky viewer on Monday night. It's the last Monday of the month. We do it every month on the last Monday of the month. $50 gift card we'll be giving away live. So you have to be here. So so you have to be here to participate in that, and we'll be able to give that away. So make sure you subscribe and hit us up on Monday for that live. Best packaging, also customer service, InStockTrades. We love you guys. Thank you for everything. Also, love everybody in the chat. Thank all of you for showing up. Lou, thank you for showing up. Would have been weird of me just talking about myself today.
It's been fun. Thanks, man.
Where can people find you at online?
You can find me at Comics Guy 101 on Twitter, where you can get such ramblings of me every once in a blue moon. And you can find me at Comics Guy 101, where there is an archive of old videos that you can check out.
Everybody, my name's Gabriel, the 90s Comics.
We're doing the Patreon this Friday, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
This Saturday, we're doing the Patreon.
This Saturday. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, anybody listening, if you're part of the Patreon, that will be this Saturday. I put up the post in our Patreon for the Omnibros After Dark Campfire. And if you want to know what that is, head on over to our Patreon. $5 a month will get you into the campfire, which is I'll tell you what it is. Who cares? All right, no big surprises. You get to hang out with me and Lou. It's a once a month hangout like this, like a Zoom call kind of thing. And we get to hang out, talk about comics, get your opinions. that is the After Dark, where we get to talk about things and do things and say things that we can't quite say here on the live show. So it's an After Dark NC-17 version of Omnibros Live too. So always fun. So check us out there. If you also want to support us, the easiest way to do it, just subscribe, share this video, tell people to subscribe to us as well. That's the best support. If you listen to us on the podcast, make sure you leave us reviews on your favorite podcast platform. That also helps us get noticed there as well. All right, everybody. Lou, any last words, brother? I'm going to take that as a no. All right, everybody. Thanks again for showing up. I hope everybody has a great day.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
That was weird.
Yeah, you were cut out for a while.
Yeah, I was saying we just hit 1,000 downloads on the podcast, so review us, guys.
Yeah.
Please, it helps.
Very cool, everybody. Thanks for all the love. We're out of here.
We're out of here.